Hi. How are you? Button your shirt up. God, he just looks awful. He just looks like a mess. What are we going to do with him? Sell him for parts. I just watched a video, and it's a little kid talking about his first, no, I think he said it was his third day at McDonald's, but nobody told him how to do different things. And they put him on nuggets, and he didn't know how to do nuggets. And he was very funny. I liked it very much. Except, well, it's a little kid, and the little kids they like using the F word and the MF, and I've tried to quit doing that. I still do every now and then. It'll slip out, but I've tried to quit doing that. But it was funny. It was the kid was talking about. He was over there, and nuggets were sticking, and a lot of that. It just got me thinking about the jobs I've had. I know you've probably had a gazillion jobs just like I have. I'm bearing down on 70 here in 5 years, so I've had a few jobs, and I was just trying to think of the first. I think my first job was I got worked for the local paper in Adrian, the Telegram, and the guy I took over the job from, he showed me how to collect. They had these cards. Gosh, I forgot about that. You had a whole wad of these cards you would punch whenever they paid. And then you collect 70 cents a week or whatever. It wasn't much. And but he didn't tell me. He didn't explain everything. He just made real sure I knew which houses and apartments. There was actually a couple apartments that I had to go to. But he just made real sure about that. But he didn't explain how I got paid. Well, I was like 12 years old, 13 years old. I didn't know how it worked. And I got to the end of the week, and I collected all the money and stuff. And they have what you call your bill. Here's your bill. You got to pay your bill. Well, that was the price of the papers you delivered for the whole week. And for the whole week, the thing come to like $13 or something like that. Well, when I got done collecting, I had like $15. And I didn't know what to do with it. And my dad, he ended up, he said, well, that's their money. You got to give it to them. And I said, but the bill is only for 13. And so he ended up calling them, and he got into a row over the phone with them. And that $2 was my pay. And I thought, well, this kind of sucks, because it took me about 2 hours a day. I mean, I had papers. I had 60 some papers. I had them big old canvas bags they'd give you. I could get them all in there barely. If you put them in just as tight as you can, you put the rubber bands around, and so you're doing all that, rolling that stuff up, and then you get to the end of the week and your pay is $2 out of that, and I'm going, oh no, I don't think so. I could pick up $2. Go down at that time. You remember, you go around, pick up bottles and stuff, and get $2, and just 2 hours you could get $2. But it was just it got me thinking about that. And then some of the other jobs I had, I was thinking the Telegram went on strike when I was a kid, and they needed, or they started a union paper for a strike paper. I get it. Excuse me. And it was the Maple City Reporter. Isn't that awful? I still remember that. How many years has that been? And I was standing. I had a job standing on the corner in front of Cunningham's. Now the people from Adrian know where Cunningham's was, and I think I told the guy. He said, just stand down there where Cunningham's. It was like 2 blocks away from the paper, and so I took like 2 bundles with me, and I said, what if somebody from the store comes out and says something? He said, Chuck, he said, it's 4:30 in the morning. Nobody from the store is going to say anything. I thought, well, I guess he's right. He was right. There was nobody from Cunningham's at 4:30 in the morning. So I sold those Maple City Reporters, and it was, a couple of those mornings were so cold. Lord have mercy, it was cold. And of course, they had the sign up there to keep reminding you how cold it was. It'd be like, it'd be 5 below, and then you'd look and you'd be trying to stay warm and hold up the paper. That was what Gus told me. That was the guy that was over me, Gus. He said, hold up the paper to the cars when they stop at the red light so they can see it. I said, okay. But you'd stand there and it'd be 5 below, and I'd look up, and I'd, okay. Because I was only going to do it, about an hour or so each morning. And then I had to go on to school over at Drager Middle School, which was close by that time, but you're just a few blocks away from Cunningham's. But then the sign would change to like 7 below. And you go, uh-oh. It didn't do you any good to see it. Cold is cold. Once it gets to 0 or 30, even 30, it's cold. So I remember standing there, and then the clock. You guys remember the clock that spun around, and it seemed like it had the time on it by this time. I mean, the temperature on it, because somebody had the temperature out there. I can't remember if it was if they had a new clock and it had it on there, or if it was another store. But anyhow, I could see the temperature, and every now when they knew it was going to be really, really cold, Dad would come down. And he'd be sitting there with the car idling up against the curb, and I said something to Gus about it. I said, my dad comes down and I jump in and get warm. He'll flash the lights after I've been out there about 20 minutes or so, and I'll go jump in and get warm. I said, is that okay? He said, you're very lucky. He was a good guy. He said, you're very lucky your dad will come down and do that for you. I said, of course it's all right. And so that was my other experience while I was still in junior high, selling the Maple City Reporter and holding up the things. And I don't think I even got as much as I did with the Telegram, with their delivering 60 some of them for $2 a week. And but at that time, I mean, the minimum wage at that time, it was $2.30, $2.40 or something like that. So they was paying me for about an hour for 12 hours of work, because I would be Saturday too. I didn't have to do a Sunday. Did I have a Sunday paper? I can't even remember. I can't remember if they had a Sunday paper. I don't think so. Anybody else, if you want to do in the comments, you can tell. But what do you remember about your first job? That's what I was wondering. Do you remember your first jobs, or one of your first jobs? It's just a growing up thing. It's just a very, very big growing up thing, and it just occurred to me watching the kid from McDonald's. I worked a couple of fast foods. I've worked at Wendy's, and I actually got an award for Wendy's. I can't remember what it was, but anyhow, that was when I was working 2 jobs when my wife was pregnant then, and I was working 2 jobs because she couldn't work. And tell me what you know. Tell me what you think. This is my first try at this. Is this a bunch of hooey? Should I go back to my day job if I had one? Maybe sweeping the floor around here or something. I'll talk to everybody soon. I appreciate it. Bye.